from his studios in New York. It's time for Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. Here's your host, Dan Tortora.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. It's where you're listening live on two different outlets. You're also watching us on facebook.com/livenowdt, right here inside of the Charney's Menswear and Tuxedo Studios. I thank you so much for being a part of the show. I thank Charney's for being our proud studio partner on 3150 Erie Boulevard East in Syracuse, New York. We have reached our final portion of today's broadcast. Mon Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory proudly brings you what's poppin' every single broadcast. What that means is they bring us the list of topics. So just like Mon Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory has at least 50 flavors at any given time on site, on location at their store where you can buy their awesomely flavored kettle corn on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. They also bring you our long list of topics every single day. So with all their flavors, they also bring us the flavors of the day. And so we've had the opportunity to talk what's poppin' with Sam Rogers, who is a former Syracuse long snapper who will now be running for New York Senate. You also just heard from Todd Philcox, who is a former Syracuse quarterback, speaking on Tommy DeVito, also his business in the Salty Charters of Jacksonville, which connects him to that community, which connected the conversation about the Jaguars and Jalen Ramsey and Telvin Smith. So Todd Philcox is, the epitome of what I do because he's connected to Syracuse and Jacksonville, and so am I. And then the Top Dog segment that we typically do every Friday to start off the second hour of the show at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. That segment is going to be double dosed this week. We're going to do a Top Dog today, and we're going to do a Top Dog on Friday, and it's normally scheduled broadcasted time. And the reason why we're doing two of them is because we didn't get to it this past Friday, which was actually perfect timing because my top dog of this past week is Moe Neal. Moe Neal has rushed now for over 2,000 yards. I said that the interviews that my Q&A with Dino Babers about Moe Neal reaching the accomplishment, my Q&A with Moe Neal about reaching it, and Abdul Adams, a running back in the backfield at Syracuse with Moe Neal. Him and I spoke as well. So those three conversations are all going to be coming up this week to share that with you. Moe ran for 36 yards in this past game. His first carry on the first drive for the team was 4 yards, which brought him to 1,999. His next carry on the second drive was for 5 yards, which got him to 2,004, which officially put him over the mark, which gave him the opportunity to be the 23rd player in Syracuse football history to rush for at least 2,000 career yards. So a big ups to Moe Neal. He is our top dog of this past week. As a freshman in 2016, he ran 68 times for 357 yards, 5.3 yards a carry, 2 touchdowns rushing. In 2017, 92 attempts, 488 yards, 5.3 yards a carry, and a touchdown. This past season, where the team went 10-3, he had 155 attempts, which was, if you look at his first two seasons combined, that was 160 attempts. He had 155 attempts in one season last season, comparative to his 160 among 2 seasons. So you see how much more they used him last year. 869 yards, 5.6 yards a carry, 5 rushing touchdowns. And this season so far, 72 attempts already. He has more attempts in 5 games this season than he had in his entire freshman season in 2016. 68 attempts in 2016, 72 through 5 games already this season, 317 rushing yards, 4.4 yards a carry, and already 3 rushing touchdowns on the season. He has averaged over 5 yards a carry in his career in the last 3 seasons. If he can get it up this season, he'll finish his career with over 5 yards a carry, which is tremendous. And his numbers and his attempts and what you've been seeing these past couple seasons just goes to show that under Dino Babers, there has been a steady uptick and a steady increase in us seeing our running backs actually get to run the ball in the backfield of this offense. And even though Dungey ran so much, I think that kind of maybe overshadowed the fact that Moe Neal had 155 attempts for 869 yards, 5.6 yards a carry, and 5 rushing touchdowns last season, because we were looking at what Dungey was doing. We weren't seeing the fact that Moe Neal had his best season last season. So he is our top dog of this past week for reaching 2,000 career rushing yards, but more importantly, for coming from a good family, for having support, for being humble, for being positive, and for being the same kid that he was 5 years ago when I started talking to him 6 years ago that he is now, which is humble, hungry, kind, compassionate, and real. So Mo, congratulations on the 2,000 yards. It's 2,031 and counting. I hope that you get to 2,100. I hope you get to 2,200. I hope, heck, you get to 2,300. So keep doing what you're doing and keep being successful. But more than anything else, keep being the young man that you are. Keep being the good person that you are, because you became the top dog this past week, that we're celebrating today. You became the top dog, proudly presented by Kamp Dog Daycare and Kampground, not because you reached 2,000 yards, but because of the man that you have become while you've been reaching this great accomplishment. So keep being the person that you are in our community, and keep being the person that you have been to your family, to us, and you've reached so many lives, you've done so many good things. You are the top dog that we're celebrating today from Kamp Dog Daycare and Kampground, both in East Syracuse, right across from BJ's off of Bridge Street. We're celebrating you, and they're celebrating you, not just because you reached 2,000 yards, but because of how you did it, because of the way that you carry yourself, and because you are the epitome of being a team player. Thank you for everything you've done for the team, and more importantly, thank you for what you've done in my life, which is through me doing what I love and Mo, you doing what you love. You help me to be around somebody that reminds me every single day why I get up in the morning, why I do what I do, and that I'm not the only one out there trying to do good things. So Mo, you're the top dog well beyond 2,000 yards. You're the top dog because even on my worst days, you make me feel like one of the best people out there. So thank you for the reach that you have and the positivity that comes with that.